I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight TV, we're delving into the enthralling world of Judith Tyler Hills with her latest masterpiece. It's a book called Cari Moses 2, The Mind Cracks. This gripping sequel continues the saga of Cari Moses, a young woman ensnared in a labyrinth of deceit, danger, and the relentless pursuit of truth. As she navigates the perilous path laid out by her past, Cari confronts a vengeful serial killer determined to shatter her newfound peace. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank our team at Atticus Publishing for helping us put her in the spotlight today. And we ask viewers like you to support writers like her by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing this terrific book. The links are below this interview. Judith, great to see you here today on Spotlight.
Thank you.
Wonderful to have you on the show.
It's great to be with you.
Great to have you here. Tell us, let's give the folks at home an overview. What is Cari Moses 2, Mind the Cracks, about?
It follows the first story about Cari Moses, who was a baby which had been stolen from her mother and abandoned by a canal and found, and the couple who found her brought her up as their own because they had a series of fairly disastrous pregnancies, and the woman was desperate for a child. So this deceit had followed Cari from birth, and only in her teen years did she actually begin to learn the truth. The story is linked with the man who originally abducted her with her mother, who turned out to be a serial killer. So it follows his progress too. And it sort of juxtaposes the idea of good and evil. A lot of the time it looks so evil triumphs, but in the end, good does come through.
Thank goodness. And it is quite a juxtaposition having Cari and the serial killer. Serial killers are always such a frightening nemesis, right? Tell us why you decided to focus on serial killers.
My background very much is in psychology, and I've actually worked in a secure hospital and dealt with people with this sort of history. And I've always been fascinated, really, by what makes the human mind capable of such terrible acts of atrocity. The human nature actually fascinates me anyway, and is a sort of the background to the book, if you like.
Yeah. What makes someone become a serial killer? Is it a complete lack of empathy? Is it a miswiring of their brain? Is it the simple fact that they're sociopaths? I've always been intrigued on that too. You know, people get into a fight and they accidentally or intentionally kill someone. We understand that. But to be a cold-blooded, calculating killer who strikes time and time again, that's a rare breed and a frightening breed. So what is this breed all about?
It certainly is. And in the case of the serial killer in these two stories, I mean, this man very definitely got a sexual kick out of killing. It was the only way, really, he could achieve sexual fulfillment. And it's like an addiction. The more he killed, the more he got a buzz from it, and the more he wanted to do it.
Frightening. It's a very fascinating aspect of your book as well. The theme of family, both biological and chosen, play an important role in your book. Tell us a little bit about how this influenced the development of your story.
It's a story of fractured families, in that the young couple who take this child as their own eventually go on to have a birth child of their own, who is all the mother's attention has focused on this baby she found, and she really has no time for the natural child when she comes along. So it's very much a dysfunctional family. And again, that's something that fascinates me, that the sort of seeds are sown in childhood for the way somebody develops later on.
Exactly. Yeah, we're pre-programmed.
The thread of family runs through it.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
The thread of family runs through the story, in that we have the background family of the young couple, and how that has played out in their lives, and made them turn out the way they are.
Mm.
And it continues as in the sequel as well. We're looking at family relationships. One of the first victims of the serial killer is herself a psychologist dealing with people like him. And we follow her sort of family history as well. So there's a lot of interplay between family and fate throughout the books.
Absolutely. Have you envisioned these books as movies or a series, perhaps on TV?
I can see them as a series, yes. As it sort of follows the Scandinavian tradition very much.
Yeah. Who would play Cari?
I don't know. It would have to be somebody who's extremely versatile, I think.
Yes, you would definitely need a versatile actress, that's for sure. Um, the novel is so real, obviously, because of your background in psychology and your interest in serial killers and psychopaths. Tell us a little bit about the writing process for you. What was it like when you wrote the story? What was your first inspiration? Obviously, it began with the first book.
It's something I've always wanted to do. I started writing short stories for my children when they were small. Never got anything published. I just wrote for them. And then during the pandemic here, I belong to a group of carers, of people caring for people with dementia. And one of the things that I did during because we couldn't get together for face-to-face meetings, I was writing short stories and either emailing them to people or popping hard copies through their letterbox. And it was a way of keeping us together. I got quite a lot of feedback from them about my short stories, and that sort of prompted me to write my first novel, which was Cari Moses, the first book.
Wonderful, wonderful. That's great inspiration for sure. Will there be a third installment?
I never envisaged it as a trilogy. I think I've sort of reached completion with the end of Mind the Cracks, but there's always possibilities.
Yeah.
I've certainly got the writing bug now. I certainly, don't see myself stopping writing.
Exactly. If it's not a trilogy, you'll probably start another novel altogether, a different book, right?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, absolutely. What's the message you hope readers take away from Cari's journey in these books?
That it's never too late for somebody to turn things around, that there's always hope, despite a lot of setbacks and a lot of negative influences. There is always hope for the future. And Cari Moses, too, Mind the Cracks, embodies this. Cari herself emerges with hope at the end.
When we read the title, Mind the Cracks, it kind of reminds me of the children's song we used to say when we were a kid, step on a crack, break your mother's back. Is that what you're alluding to? Tell us a little bit about the.
I've never heard that, but certainly Mind the Cracks was a game we played as children, walking along the pavement, and you had not you were destined for bad luck if you trod on the cracks.
Yeah. Okay, so it's the same thing in this country. You also don't step on the cracks, but it was don't step on the crack, you'll break your mother's back. So it's kind of the same thing. I guess that would be very bad luck if you broke your mother's back, right?
It certainly would, although in case of Cari, she might be quite grateful.
Absolutely, absolutely. Tell me, did you have an inspiration when writing the character Cari? Did you model her after one person or a few people that you knew, or somebody cinematically, perhaps?
No, I think she's very much a figment of my own imagination.
Yeah, you just dreamt her up.
I think so, yes.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's all part of writing, is tapping into the imagination. That's for sure. How long did it take you to write the first book?
Quite a long time. It's a series of very short chapters. I mean, there's well over 100 chapters, and that's not. I hope that doesn't put anybody off reading it, because some of those chapters are only a page or half a page long. But I have a limited time for writing. I write first thing in the morning, and hence the very short chapters. And I try to end each chapter on something of a cliffhanger, so it carries the pace forward.
I actually like short chapters in a book because it makes it easy to read. You can read a little bit, put it down, you've completed your reading, and then pick it up at the next chapter. So I actually think it's a great thing, particularly in this day and age where nobody has a attention span anymore because we've all wasted away our brains on the phone, right?
Exactly that. Yes, I prefer something with short chapters, and it's very much the way I write.
Yeah.
And I think also my background is writing short stories, and it sort of follows from that.
Sounds great. Yeah, basically it's a series of short stories that are connected, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Judith Tyler Hills has written a masterpiece. It is called Cari Moses 2, Mind the Cracks. It is a gripping sequel in the saga of Cari Moses, a young woman ensnared in a labyrinth of deceit, danger, and the relentless pursuit of truth. Judith, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Thank you.
My pleasure. I enjoyed speaking with you. And to the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.